Simon Told Helen wins a half length. Zach Manelli second.
Welcome to Greyhound Gossip.
Peaky Blinders start cheering for Tommy Shelby wins the WA Sprint Championship final.
Featuring Peter O'Neill.
Mozza moves up to Mermaid Manelli. Fab's Gem 3 deep. Here comes Fab's Gem.
Hard Style Rico by 5 lengths to Simon Told Helen. Third Tommy Shelby.
This segment is dedicated to the discussion and promotion of greyhound racing.
Cindy's Oliver, Rockstar Patriot, Paul Stewart, back-to-back with Rockstar Patriot in the Galaxy.
Handsome Prince, a boulder clear, the former Tasmanian. Handsome Prince has won the $1 million chase.
And a very good morning, everyone, and welcome along to Greyhound Gossip. Big weekend of greyhound racing that has just passed. And, of course, on Saturday night we had a big night of greyhound racing featuring the final of the Spring Gift, and that was down at Mandurah, of course. The win going the way, just get the records up here, the win going the way on Saturday night of the Crystal Shinners train Transcendent. So we'll talk to Steve Shinners a little bit later on this morning on Greyhound Gossip. But let's head straight down to Tim Beaver, who's joining us from the Racing WA with an update on the Cannington track, because we're not too far away from returning to headquarters. And Tim Beaver joins us this morning. Tim, good morning.
Good morning, Peter, and good morning, listeners.
How do we find you? How was your weekend? And did you enjoy the AFL Grand Final if you got to see it?
Pretty ordinary weekend for me, mate. Both teams got beaten. The Roosters on Friday, then backed it up with the Swans on Saturday. So a little bit of soul searching over the weekend, but we'll looking forward to 2025 at this stage. So, but anyway, we'll get over it.
Okay.
That's footy.
Beautiful day today. There has been a little bit of inclement weather over the last few months. Has that affected the upgrade at Cannington?
At this stage, the contractors have done really well out there, actually. So we're basically 1 week behind the time that we estimated at the start of the project to be finished. So things are looking pretty good out there at this stage. So we're today they're putting the sand on. So that's a pretty big milestone for the track build.
When do we expect to go back?
Okay, so basically I'll just give you a bit of an update of where we've been and what we've done. So we've got so basically what we've done is we've done a new inside and outside plinth. So we've got the and then we've put in some the new rail on the inside, and that's basically already installed. We had it locally manufactured, the posts and rail, and that's just getting its final tolerance done on it now. And then the base of them will be grouted and completed. The new sterilised start boxes have arrived and been installed. All the sensors are all in place and fitted off. The new fencing around the outside, which is the PVC coated fencing, due to the rust issues out there, that's all about 95% finished. The catching pen's been extended, and the track reticulation's sort of maybe 3/4 of the way being installed at the moment. So that's progressing well. So basically from this week, we've got the sand being installed, as I mentioned before. That started from today, so it'll take a couple of days to get done. Then once that's done, we've got the fitting off of some of the gates and the padding around the track. Irrigation, finish that off, and final grouting of the posts at the bottom, and then just putting the rubber crumb and the sand to the synthetic turf at the start boxes. So basically, we're well and truly on track for completion at the end of October, and then without any glitches, we should be back racing in November as planned.
Okay, so are we expecting a couple of weeks of trials once it's all been completed?
I think that's what the club was wanting to do. So, and I think that's probably the sensible thing to do, as well as to get trialling on the track and just make sure that the sort of track surface is good and beds itself down and what have you. Obviously, with the new sand coming on, just want to make sure it's all tick all the boxes before we start racing back on it.
What can we expect for those people that last time saw Cannington, and when we return? Is there much of a change? Like, is the rail still the same position, and is there much of a change that we will actually notice?
Not really, Peter. It's just it was the reason for the project in the first place was actually the inside post and rail was rusting off the foundations, so that was going to cause a bit of a hazard with it possibly failing during a race with obviously the law going around. So we needed to address that. That was the main driver of the project. But while we were doing it, we also re-established the outside plinths and had to redo all the fencing around the outside as well, because that had rusted out at the posts due to the water problems out there with the salt in the water. So hopefully we've addressed that. We have slightly changed some of the angles of the start boxes minutely, but it's going to obviously, hopefully, change the trajectory of a couple of the starts there for the dogs, not sort of starting off and going. They're sort of going to angle more to 1 metre off the rail, like at the 380 start. So we've angled it so that the one box is 1 metre off the rail on its angle from the start. So hopefully that has an improvement of that start as well. So
and hopefully there'll be less
small little changes, but not a lot.
Yeah, less interference on those. You mentioned the reticulation. I know that it was installed when the first build back in, or what was it, 2016, but never used. Are we expecting to see reticulation being used between races? Is that the idea instead of the truck going around?
I think I would personally. I think it would be good. I'll need to really get involved with the what they're doing down at Mandurah, because that is the theory that we could put it on in between races. I know that at Mandurah there was a couple of the heads weren't performing the way they should have, but we've rectified that now. So I think Steve down there at Mandurah, I think, was keen to explore putting them on in between races. It's definitely great to have it on during the day and all that sort of stuff, especially in summer, so you can keep the moisture into the track without having to run the truck around it all the time. Sure. So it is definitely an advantage to have an efficient working system that is spreading water evenly across the track. We don't like the uneven surfaces, obviously, with wet and dry and things like that. So it is really important that you have a good efficient system that's working as optimal as it should be.
Just one last question on Cannington. Good to see that we'll be returning there in early November. Is there a new outside rail or fence that's been installed, or has that been removed?
There's new fencing around the whole track. We designed it in the home straight there from the 520 box. We had some on the outside. We had some fencing on there which hadn't been there before, but once we put it in, there was a few concerns with sight lines and stuff, so we've removed that out of there now. So that'll be as it was in the past. So There's no views going to be obstructed by that. So.
Okay, so Cannington, we're looking to go back around, what has been written as the 9th of November, that date to be confirmed, but early November with some trialling taking place at the end of October. So that's great news. Well done to the team that have done that. We've been up and running now for a little while at Mandurah since you've done all the work down there. Are you happy with the results that we're getting?
I think that the track itself is performing quite well. I think that also with the new lights and all the features with the big screen and the way the catching pen works and what have you, I think it's a real we've really it's a good investment as a track. To have all of those extra things that have been done at the same time while we were rebuilding that track. So I think that it's a great asset for the industry to have that track as working as well as what it is. So I think it's a great racing track.
Good to hear. Well done for you and the team doing the work. Where are you today? Are you down at Lark Hill?
Yes, down at Lark Hill today. So that's my normal Monday haunt. So, then I'll be heading to, I think the Greyhounds as pets. I've got an open day tomorrow, so I've got to quickly duck into there as well. So usually out and about and usually at a few different places.
Good on you, mate.
Day.
Keep up the good work.
Thanks, Peter.
Tim Beaver joining us on Greyhound Gossip. A busy day scheduled for him, and I'm sure there's another busy day scheduled for our next special guest, which is Steve Shinners, who joins us online. Crystal and Steve having a wonderful weekend, double on Saturday night, and the feature, the Greyhounds WA Spring Gift with Transcendent, who's a very, very promising young pup. And Steve joins us online this morning. Steve, good morning. Congratulations on what was a big weekend again for the team.
Great. Thanks, Pete. Good morning.
Yeah, busy day for you again today?
Yeah, it doesn't stop, mate, as you know. So, madly getting everything ready for the Sydney trip for the little girl as well. So, just all systems go, as they say.
Just before we get to her, Transcendent, He's been a greyhound that's probably missed out on a couple of feature finals, but good to see him take out that feature there on Saturday night.
Yeah, look, and he's been under a bit of duress. It's probably well documented. His trip that he had back from Adelaide, he just sort of hasn't been the same, and he's probably still not 100% yet, but a couple more runs under his belt, and hopefully he can get back to his absolute best. But no, look, it was a great run on Saturday night, especially overcoming box 8, and he hit the 7 pretty hard early and had to really work hard, and he ran out of petrol tickets at the end, but no, I was really wrapped with him.
You mentioned the stress that he went through in South Australia on the flights across and back. How long, obviously still taking time to recover, did he lose weight during that period?
Yeah, he did. He definitely on the way back. He lost nearly a kilo, which is a fair bit on a flight. And and then unfortunately, since then we've had a couple little niggling injuries as well. So we haven't been able to work him as much either. So and we've had to really fluid him back up again. And credit to Crystal this week. I was off trialling Miss Envy in Sydney, and she had to work on him all week, so she did a great job. And had him cherry ripe for Saturday night.
He is a greyhound that's got a lot of ability, as Miss Envy, his sister, has as well. Because of what happened with his last travel, does that stop him from travelling in the future?
No, probably won't. But I think when we do travel, we'll have to. We're contemplating at the moment whether we go up for the Young Stars at Wentworth Park with him, or we stay at home with him for the race down at Mandurah. If we do go, we'll definitely have to sort of go 3 or 4 days earlier with him, just to let him settle in and hopefully get over any issues. But, look, she didn't have a great trip, and she's getting a lot better now. She's had 3 or 4 flights now, and, she's definitely travelling better. So hopefully he gets in the same boat. And, look, it was just unfortunate they got stuck in the crates for so long. So hopefully we can just get a normal flight across without any hassles, and hopefully he gets a bit better. So
how did Miss Envy trial when she went across to Sydney?
Yeah, look, she went good. It had rained all day, unfortunately, up there, and track I don't think was in great condition, and she sort of got a bit lost and felt her way around. But they tell me she only ran about 0.1 off the best of the night, which was pretty good. And the track was definitely hadn't even been sort of prepared because of the rain that they'd had. So no, look, I was pretty happy with her, and she's the type of dog that will generally find quite a bit second time up as well.
What are the plans with her? Where does she go to next?
So we've got Stuart's permission to trial her before the races on Thursday at Northam. Just wanted to keep her on the 2-turn track and give her a full 500 there, and then we'll head to Sydney on Wednesday. And Crystal's coming up as well for a few days, and then we'll settle her in, and then the heats are on the Saturday night. So hopefully she goes well for the $1 million chase heats.
And does she have to win to qualify?
Yeah, 8 heats, so pretty cutthroat. Yep. So hopefully we can draw a box somewhere down near the fence, and it'll come into play there, because it's as you know, very difficult to get across from out there. But she's a very smart dog in the field, and she'll acquit herself well. Obviously, rich stake money on offer there for you to tackle, which is well worth it. But you're a West Australian, but you were from Victoria back in the day. Would you like to go back and challenge maybe with Transcendent and her for a Melbourne Cup Carnival? Oh, definitely. Yeah, no, they'll definitely be going across there. And we'll throw in the old boy Savick. He's just starting to get back to his best again, so he can go for the staying races as well, which is good. He'll probably come to Sydney with me next weekend as well. So, look, it'll be definitely on the cards to go back there. And it's always nice to go back, but definitely can't wait to get back home again in the nice weather, I tell you. Yeah. It was a good run there, Savick. You mentioned him. He was part of the double there on Saturday. Yeah, look, he's going really good. Look, he's had nearly 5 months off with a stopper tendon, and a lot of them don't come back from that. So a lot of patience and a lot of hard work, lasering and that. And it was great to see him back. And as you probably know, he needs 800. So I was really impressed with his run on Friday to really rattle home and run a real good last section. So he'll probably fly up next weekend, and we'll get the boys up there to trial him on the track, and then probably have him in the Sydney Cup heats. And so it's just good to have a couple to be travelling around with anyway. And he'll acquit himself well. He's got plenty of ability, and he just needs a bit of an ounce of luck in his races to show his best. I saw Crystal there on Saturday night. It must be difficult, especially with her work, to be able to look after the kennel while you are travelling. Yeah, look, it's good. She's probably cut down her work hours a little bit lately, which is really good. So, she's been able to spend a bit more time with the dogs. And as you know, 7 days a week. And we've got 2 litters of puppies here at the moment, which is creating a lot more work. So, we're just trying to we're just actually putting another girl on now to help out a little bit, and then sorry, they've all started carrying on in the background there. So it's just nice to be able to get a bit of a break in between. So yeah, it's good to have Crystal there, and she's going to do a bit of travelling with us as well. So. Yep. Which is good. So she get to enjoy it. And I think she's booked us in for our anniversary up in the Sydney Towers when we head up there with Miss Envy. So she's looking forward to that.
You greyhound trainers really struggle, don't you? What are the litters? Is one of them a Miss America?
Yeah, so we've got a litter of Bernardos out of Miss America. They're about 8 or 9 weeks old now. They're stunning little puppies. A couple of them this is the first litter we've ever sold any out of, because we're just starting to get too many. And as you know, we're only a small kennel. We only sort of have the 12 in work. And so we've sold a couple, and a couple are going to England. And then we've got Fortified Mac, who was out of the first litter with Electrified and all that. Okay. And she just had a litter of 8 to Fernando Bale. So, and we'll probably sell a few of them as well. So, and then we've got Amplified due on any day. So I'm hoping that she holds off a little bit longer until these guys get a bit older. So, yeah. Yeah, that's exciting. And they're very well bred, and to keep that line going is outstanding. Just back to Savick, an interesting point you made about a stopper. I've got a greyhound that's also returned with a similar injury. A lot of trainers say that they don't. Why is a stopper injury so difficult for a trainer to be able to try and get a greyhound back? Yeah, because it depends on how bad they do the tendon, and if they tear the tendon and it gets scarring around it, then you get less movement in it. And it's a lot of lasering day after day just to sort of loosen it up again. And look, the bone injuries heal pretty good, but the tendons are the biggest thing. So it's unfortunate, but it just depends on the degree of the tear in the tendon and how much it lifts off. And I mean, his was bad, but it wasn't like the worst I've seen. So to get them back, and he's been pulling up all right. He's probably a bit like us, Peter, when you get a bit older and you get out of bed in the morning, you're a little bit stiff, and he's a bit the same. But then we sort of work on him, and then during the week after, a couple of days after his run, he's back to normal again. So, it's just a lot of ongoing management. And, it's just, unfortunately, you can put in all the work, but it's luck of the draw. And he probably races in a fashion that he's not blistering early. So you tend to find that the sprinters are a lot harder to get back than the stayers, because they sort of generally warm themselves up into a race, which he definitely does. So, it's probably a lot easier than a high-speed sprinter, because they're going bang straight away. So, it's just trial and error. And I love the dog, so I just give him a bit of an opportunity. And, he's repaying us now, and he's loving to be back racing again.
Good on you, mate. Good to see Savick back, and looking forward to seeing him go across to Sydney along with Miss Envy. And great win by Transcendent in the Greyhounds WA Spring Gift Final there on Saturday night. Good luck with $1 million chase. You might even be able to, I know you're battling, you might be able to stay 2 nights in that apartment up in Sydney if you win the $1 million chase. Good luck.
Thanks, Pete. Cheers, mate.
Good on you. Steve Shinners there. And, outstanding run by Transcendent to take out the running of the Spring Gift Final. We'll take a break, and then Tim Walker will be back with Off and Pacing after this.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelpline.org.au.